Well, what's going on, AspieWorld fam? It is another podcast live. I always say it's live, but it's not live. Well, it is live. It's recorded live, but you're not listening to it as it's live. So please, no questions. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, this isn't live. It's pre-recorded. But I love doing these things because it's cool. It's raw. It's real. It's right now, and that's what is going on. So I just got back from Canada, guys. I'm super tired, jet lagged, but the event was a success. Thanks for asking. And if you're interested in the next one, please tell me about it in the comments, and then I will hook you up with ways you can get involved in the next one. And it's not just in Canada. The event's going to be worldwide. So today I am interviewing somebody super interesting. Been conversing by email, very interested. And the lady I'm speaking to is Hallie. And Hallie is an advocate for her brother and works voluntarily for the Citizens Options Unlimited, and she's also the board president. So Hallie knows all about everything she's going to talk about right now to do with advocacy, advocating for a brother, and this organization or the group, the Citizens Unlimited Board, Citizens Unlimited, which is really interesting because I'm really interested to know more about the company. Citizens Options Unlimited. Okay, yes. Hallie, enough about me talking. Tell us about who you are and what you do and things like that.
Sure. Thank you, Daniel, so much for having me on and for all that you do for the autism community. I just want to say that up front. So yes, my name is Hallie Klein. I live in New York. I am the sibling of my big brother, David. He was diagnosed earlier. I know that you were diagnosed later. He was diagnosed as a child in I want to say it was 1980, back when there were very, yes, a long time ago, when there were, it was a lot less common then. But he was diagnosed in the 80s. My parents passed away pretty young. So David is my sister and I are co-guardians of David. We are also siblings. We are also best friends. We see each other every week. We do a lot of social things. And I am also honored to be the president of Citizens Options Unlimited, which is an agency on Long Island that provides supports and services to adults with, different abilities. And David is fortunate enough to reside in a group home and engage in a lot of social activities with his peers and attend a day program and lead, a really happy and fulfilling life. But we do see each other every weekend, and we're very close with our families, and, he's one of our best friends.
Dude, that's so fire. And you guys it's a Long Island, New York, right? There's not another Long Island that I know of. Cool. What's the pizza like in Long Island?
I think it's better than the city, but I will get a lot of flack for saying that.
I don't know, man. I had pizza in Manhattan, and it wasn't that hot. You know what I mean? I was like right in the center there, man. Like, and it was okay. But I'm a pizza dude. I'm a pizza connoisseur, so I'm like, yo, pizza has to be dope. But I always hear like Long Island pizza is the best, right? So
it is.
Gotta be better than Jersey pizza, right?
States, you will set up a pizza appointment, and I will take you to the spots.
I would love to come to New York and do like a talk and a workshop with you guys. I think that would be so dope. Like, we should do that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I do those kind of things. So yes, I'm definitely interested in doing something like that. Sure. So David is your big brother, right?
Yes.
So what? Yeah. So cool. I've got a big brother as well. My big brother is interesting because he taught me loads of things. And I talk about this in my book, Autism for Adults, right? And we were just talking about it earlier. And in the book, I talk about how my brother really helped motivate or set fire to my kind of like intellectual kind of thirst for knowledge, because my brother was a bit older than me and an intellect because he's a writer and things like that. And so he wanted to talk about these cool books and sciences and stuff, and I got so into it. So what is it that, that your brother has taught you about life? And it could be anything, obviously. But
so really, he's taught me how to be a better person, for lack of a better way of saying it, but patience, compassion, perseverance. Things didn't come easy to him growing up. Things that, I took for granted: walking, talking, swimming, riding a bike, school. It didn't come easy to him, but he worked harder than anyone that I know, and he accomplished everything that he wanted to, and is happy and is thriving and is, really just an amazing person. And just seeing him dedicate himself. He taught me that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And I saw that through him growing up my entire life.
I love that. And it's funny. I have this. Life for autistic individuals can be difficult. I'm not saying it's difficult every single day. There are difficult elements every single day, but I also have a motto that I kind of run through, and I have this whole thing that people know me for is like overcommitting, 10x everything, going kind of above and beyond all the time when I'm doing something, because I've got like ADHD as well. And one of those things that I live by is that anything that is worth having should be hard work, right? And so kind of like, if you wanted to get six-pack abs and look like a bodybuilder, you'd have to put in some crazy amount of hard work. So I believe that those things, struggling and difficult as they may be, super rewarding at the end. And I think David can also resonate with that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So here's a question for you, though. How do you support David to be successful? Because obviously his success is by his own drive and motivation. But like, how do you feel your role in his success is?
So I think similar to my role, with anyone that I love, being supportive, not dismissing their dreams, not limiting him because of a diagnosis, understanding that he can still accomplish anything that he sets his mind to. And I think setting him up for success in safe spaces. So, David does live in a group home. Citizens Options Unlimited is an amazing organization. There's social activities. There's places where he can thrive and be successful, in whatever he wants to do, because they're supportive as well. So I think connecting with, appropriate safe spots for him is very important. But I think just being a sister and supporting him, with love and kindness, and not dismissing him and not ever limiting him, because he's capable of everything that I am and more.
Yeah, it's like unconditional support, right? Like it's the stuff that you don't even need to say. You're just there, right? Because that's what you do. Like for the people you love most, and I always say this, right? Love is displayed through actions, nothing else. So people can say that they do all this stuff out of love and they love this, love that, but unless you take action towards love, then you don't urge yourself towards it. You know what I mean? And I think it's so interesting. And the fact that you're even doing this interview and we're talking about David shows me that you love him dearly. So which is really, really good. So what does the balance look like between, hey, I'm your support person, as well as, you have to lead an independent life? Because all autistic individuals strive to be as independent as possible. That's what we're all trying to do. And I know for me, it took me, I was 28 before I was able to live outside of my parents' house. And, to me, I feel like I have somewhat low support needs, but also have very high needs in other places, like executive function and stuff like that. So like, managing finances and doing groceries and washing clothes, those things are really difficult for me, So what does the balance look like for you, supporting David, but not doing too much so he wouldn't learn things? What's that look like?
So I think, and you touched on some of the things that he struggles with as well, money, laundry, things like that. I think, not limiting him is just leading with that, not limiting him, but being his sister, being there for him, helping him, realize his dreams, not dismissing them. We grew up together in the same house. When my sister and I turned 18, we went away to college. That David wanted to go away too. And he would ask questions like, when am I going to go? When am I going to move out? When am I going to be, with my friends? And I think realizing that might look different for David, but that he can still work towards that goal, and connecting with an agency like Citizens Options Unlimited, where he can now move out of the house like his sisters did and live with his peers like his sisters did, and, have his own, house and
identity and stuff.
His sisters do. Exactly. So it might look a little different, but it's really the same. And I think, being his sister and being a support in everyday life, like you said, just natural support, leading with love, and connecting him to organizations that support him as well, so that he can, realize whatever potential and dreams he has.
Here's a sidebar question. How what would you think the potential of success without having the support from an organization, like Citizens Options Unlimited? Like, if you didn't have that, what do you think his potential would look like? Do you think it would limit him, or because it's really interesting. I want to know like how much does he use that service?
So I think it would look a lot different. So a lot of his independence, a lot of his socialization, his daily, every day he goes to a program, and, that's his work. So I wake up, I go to work, he wakes up, he goes to work, and we talk about it. What did you do at work today? And his program is different than me sitting in an office, but we both work. And I think if he didn't have an agency like Citizens Options Unlimited to support him, where, he'd have a workplace to go to every day. He has a home where he can live independently. He has social activities that he can engage in with his friends. If he didn't have all of that, his life would be a lot different, and he wouldn't be as happy. And that's something that needs to be expanded on, and there needs to be more funding. There needs to be more programs available for everybody, because they are so crucial. And again, I'm just talking about David. I know the spectrum is very broad, but my experience with David and some of his peers, it is so crucial to their, fulfilling their dreams and leading a happy life.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of like support, we were talking about how the organization supports David, but what's really interesting, and what I think is really interesting, is what is the support? What does it look like for the support? So caregivers and people caring for autism, do you feel there's a lack of support? Do you feel like there's enough support? Because like there must be challenges that a caregiver will face when supporting, like David, for instance, right? So you support David. What challenges and stuff do you come across?
So Citizens Options Unlimited, and again, I'm just speaking from my personal experience, we have support groups, we have sibling groups, we connect to other family members. There are respite programs for family members available. But I will never think that there's enough just support in general and funding in general, because like I said, David was diagnosed, I think it was 1980, but it was definitely the early 80s. And things were a lot different then. Now there's such, a larger need for, increased supports and increased funding that, that's part of my mission is, I will not give up until there's more and there's enough for everybody that needs it. But Citizens Options Unlimited does, ensure that the caretaker, you got to take care of the caretaker, right? So they do ensure that there are support groups and, respites available for the people that care for the people in the program.
Yeah, I mean, look, it takes a village, right? And I think that, that saying is really like there are so many moving parts to anybody's, because we're all complex beings, right? And autism is even more complex. And so it then branches out to different things, because the stress can't just be dissipated onto one person. It can be distributed among a few people, and then a problem shared is a problem halved, right? Which is exactly the motto we need to go for. And the more you help each other, the more diluted the problem, right?
Right. Exactly. And I think just talking to people that understand, it's, I think even us having this conversation and talking to other people that have loved ones that are on the spectrum, I think just, finding that common ground and just being able to rely on each other to understand the other one's perspective firsthand is so important. So connecting to organizations that offer that type of support and that type of interaction with others is so important for caregivers.
100%. So here's a question. What do you think that, like, how do you think society could better help support families like your family, right? What can we do as a society or a group of people? How can we support other families like yours?
So I think always better funding. There's, it's underfunded. There's so many people that need support. The people that care for my brother, direct support professionals in his group home, as far as I'm concerned, you cannot pay them enough money. That is one of the hardest jobs in the world. They deserve to make, all the money in the world. And government doesn't, fund them, enough. And that's so important. Increased inclusion. in society is very important. I, have seen changes for the better since 1980. I will say that, but there's still a huge need. There's more and more people on the spectrum, more and more people with sensory issues, with ADHD, with, different issues that there needs to be more inclusion. It needs to be everywhere and not just certain places.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's one of the reasons I did this event in Canada this week just gone was because me and my team did a big dive of data across all of my audience and asked, what is the biggest thing you struggle with and where are you? And two of the biggest things is, one, autistic people felt super lonely. And the other one was that they were disconnected from services. They didn't know what service existed in their area, what support existed in their area. And so that was Canada, United States, Australia, and some parts of the UK, which I found really interesting because those are highly densely populated areas. And you'd think that there'd be more services that would be showing themselves. So this kind of leads on to the question, are there any other resources or support services that you found helpful as well as the organization that you kind of volunteered for?
So through the organization, there's numerous resources, but I think connecting with other families and parents can lead you to a ton of resources that you may not know about. If there's a soccer team that offers an inclusive, team, sport, you find things out like that by connecting with other parents. That's a huge, other guardians, siblings, family members. That's a huge part of it.
Definitely. I think, somebody asked me the other day, they were saying my kids, like tweens, teens, like they're between kind of like becoming these independent, like young people and then before getting to adulthood. And they saying, where's a safe space for them to meet other like-minded people, right? And I always said, church groups, it's a great one, right?
Right.
Because you've got to get somewhere that's safe, that you can find other people who are not going to judge and are going to be able to kind of accept you for who you are. So outside of autism support groups, I think if you're isolated in an area, always try your church youth group, right? Because there's always going to be something fun for them to do and meet other, like-minded kids. So it was really interesting. We should talk about that. So what tips would you share with other sibling advocates? So for somebody just like you who's advocating for their brother or sister or whatever, what kind of tips would you share with them?
So I would say get involved. Definitely, learn what resources are available and get involved. Don't take no for an answer. If David wants to do something, I will find a way. If my initial, response is no, we will still find a way. And I think being in a safe space is so important, but I also think not limiting his, ability to be part of society as well. So, for instance, David loves to go to Mets games. He loves to go to rock concerts. He loves things like that. And I would never... I recognize that he may need some additional supports to attend those events successfully, but I would never discourage him from doing that. And that's, something that we love to do together is go to a Mets game in the summer or go to a concert. When we were younger, he would love to go to a bar or a club, things like that. And
the old days.
Right.
Oh man, my knees are too sore for that now. I can't do that these days. Goodness.
Right. When we were younger.
Yeah.
But, and I understand that, it might look a little different, for David, and we might need to, have a contingency plan or an exit plan, or we might need to sit in a specific row at the concert so that he doesn't feel overwhelmed. But I think not shying away from being integrated in society. It's not always easy. And there are still some judgmental people out there, but I think that's important as well. And setting, your sibling up for success in every way possible. And of course, connecting with local agencies, like in my case, Citizens Options Unlimited, that provides resources for people, for loved ones that are on the spectrum.
Amazing stuff. So before we wrap it up and ask you how people can find you, I got one question.
Yeah.
Staten Island pizza or Long Island pizza, which is best?
Ooh, all right. So my sister lived on Staten Island for a while, so she would get very upset with me for saying this, but I still have to go Long Island pizza all day, every day. So if you come to Long Island, We will set up a pizza party, and
Yeah, let's do it.
I will handpick some of the best pizza locally, and we could have a taste test, and you'll decide.
That's exactly the kind of party I need to be invited to. Thank you so much for that. So, Holly, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. How can people find out more about what you guys do with, Citizens Options Unlimited? Like, how can people find you?
So I would love to give you my contact information, our website, and people can reach out to me anytime. I know that sometimes getting started with, connecting with an agency can be overwhelming, and it's not always easy to find one that may be appropriate for your loved one. But please, I'll share my contact information. Anyone is available to reach out. I'll give you the website to Citizens Options Unlimited, and you can reach out from there as well. And we'd love to, further discuss, or, anytime that you would like to do something together, have us on again, we would love to be part of it.
Perfect. Okay, so I will leave the links for the citizens-inc.org website down below and in the show notes. And if you want to get in touch with Hallie, obviously I'll have the links there so you can get in touch with Hallie on whatever public platform she allows you to contact on. And then also, I'd love to have you back for something. We'd talk more about pizza and autism. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be great. So you let me know when you're ready and we'll do that.
Okay. Thank you, Holly. Take care.
Thank you so much.